Morning, everybody. 8:10 a.m., April 5th. Good morning. What a crazy market yesterday. Crazy. Market was doing not much of anything with low volume. And then all of a sudden, huge sell off. Starting with geopolitical risk with Israel and Iran. And then topped it off with Goolsby and Kashgari talking about possibly no cuts. Sent the market down. Crazy, huge sell off. My lord. Big time. Big time. A lot of stuff going on. Now, this morning we got non-farm payrolls and unemployment, so that could also shake the markets. And this morning we're catching a little bounce, but in the big scope of things, it's not much. But the unemployment and non-farm payrolls, now unemployment's at 3.9. They're expecting 3.9. If that's higher, that will be bullish. But the non-farm payrolls. I'm sorry if I said that non-farm payrolls. I meant unemployment rate 3.9. They're expecting 3.9. If that goes higher, like 4.0 or 4.1, 4.2, that is bullish. Okay, that means cuts could happen. Non-farm payrolls, though, we're expecting 200K. Most times it's a beat. Whenever it's a beat, that's then should be a bearish thing. So it's kind of going to be interesting here how this pans out. That is at 8:30 a.m. It's about 20 minutes from now. Okay, so a lot to get into. All right. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Use market profile, volume profile, and structure in the market, along with gaming exposure level, supply and demand, anchor view ops, the most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, and the previous day. All helps me find structure in the market. Okay, so when all those things could get combined, I line them all up with internals during the day, then that may enable me to put risk on and put a trade on. So that's basically the gist, and that's about it. So hopefully you subscribe and set alert to my channel, and hopefully you'll like it by giving me a big thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. And always, you can follow me on X at Gonzo719. All right, now without further ado, let's get right into the watch list prior to non-farm payrolls. This will change, so let's do it. All right, we got a VIX. What did I say yesterday? The VIX needs to hold above 15. We are at 16.46. 16.46. So what that means, all right, the VIX is a gauge of 30 days out, so a month. Okay, so a 16 VIX implies a 1% move in the S&P 500. That's how that works. 32 VIX is a 2% move expected. So 16, there's volatility back. Okay, that's great for trading. All right, so let's look at what's going on here now. And Nasdaq's up 0.39, ES up 0.34, the Dow's up 0.25, Russell's up 0.24, gold's up 0.08, the dollar is up 0.08. Now the dollar and gold should move around. 10-year yield reports at 820. Crude, with the geopolitical risks, was down on the day and then ripped up with possible war between Iran and Israel, right? 30-year bonds are being sold right now, down 0.29. Silver is taking a big pullback, down 1.7. Bitcoin's pulling back today. They were not hurt yesterday, but now they're pulling back about 66.9, okay, down 2.72%. Ether's down 3.65%. All right, moving on to Mag 7 Plus. All right, so are people thinking about buying opportunities? Snow has dropped significantly. They are up 1.16. AMD dropped huge, okay, broke a bunch of key levels, but they are up 1.1%. Netflix up 0.87, Meta's up 0.84. So some people buying the dips right now. Okay, is this a pullback? That's just a dip that's going to get bought and we're going to go skyrocketing back up? Don't know, right? But right now we have a positive stocks here. The only ones that are down is Google, down 0.15, Bob is down 0.21, and Coinbase is down 1.13%. I just saw Kathy Woods shed it like something like 6 or 4 point something million dollars of Coinbase. So that's wraps up Mag 7 Plus. Let's move on to top sector stocks. Okay, so Qualcomm's up 0.34, Salesforce, Visa. Okay, is there a laggard? Not really. Walmart is only down 0.10. Now, if we go to my swing stock list, who's leading that? Western Digital up 2.92%, SoundHound 2.28%, Paramount Global up 1.62%, Spotify up 1. That is not a lot of huge. That's not a lot of big movers. Now, if you look at the laggards here, you're down Bitcoin ETF, Enphase, MicroStrategies, Mara, Riot, Tilray. I mean, again, nothing huge here. Okay, let's go back to top sectors and we'll go to the sectors. All right, that's leading the pack today. Semis. So right now, those dips are being bought in semis, technology, discretionary, energy, communications. So everything's pretty much has a little bounce to it. There's no laggard. And we sold off pretty good yesterday. Um, so we might as well get into the calendar. We'll look at that. And we'll obviously come back to that. So what's on tap today? Right, we got non-farm payrolls. Talked about it. Expecting 200K. Usually these are beats and then they're revised lower. Doesn't matter. You trade the numbers that come out. So we're expecting 200. Previous 275K. I said earlier, if this number is hot, right, adding jobs is bearish. Okay. If this number is weak, that's bullish. Okay. Now unemployment rate 3.9. Right. Forecast 3.9. So this will be a nothing burger if it is 3.9. However, if the number is hot, okay, if the number is 4.0, 4.1, 4.2, that is bullish. That means Fed will cut. Perceived the Fed will cut. Okay, if it goes down to 3.8, 3.7, I'm sorry, bearish. Okay, that's really what we're looking at today. Now, then we have Fed Barking speaking before the market opens at 9:15 a.m. Fed Bowman speaking at 12:15 p.m. All right. We're looking at upgrades and downgrades. Let's just refresh this here. We have Krispy Kreme got an upgrade. Just trying to see Fox Corporation got an upgrade. Downgrades, anyone to note? Not really. Initiated coverage, not really. Okay. Trying to think what else I wanted to show you guys. Juice. I talked about Kashgari and Goolsby about the rate cuts yesterday, almost trying to take them off the table. But just keep in mind, Fed Kashgari and Fed Goolsby are not voting members, so that's important to note. Now, what I wanted to show you guys is the Fed Watch tool. Okay, so the next FOMC is not expecting a cut. 93.5% of expected it as a pause. Okay, however, once you get into June, okay, we are expecting a cut, a quarter point basis rate cut. So 59.8%. Even after Kashgari and Goolsby, we're still looking at a cut coming in June. This is concorded to Fed futures. Okay, so 59.8%, only a 35% chance of no change, a pause in June. Okay, so that's still on the table. That's still on the table. Let's see here. That's really probably all I want to talk about there. Yeah, yep. That's pretty much. Let's go back to the calendar. All right. Let's see. Actually, let's see. Just trying to see crude surging because, like I said, Israel and Iran. Apple announces layoffs. So Apple has announced it's laying off more than 600 workers in California, its first major job losses since the pandemic. Okay. All right. That's pretty much it. And we'll wait for news to drop. me see if there's any other news that I wanted to put out there. Not really. Okay, let's go over the daily charts while we wait for the news to drop. So, big bearish engulfing candle. All right. Does this get follow through? Let's see. Does this candle get follow through? So, we opened here, pushed down, okay, and then we started to go back towards the highs. And then all that happened, right? And then, boom, you engulfed these candles, pushed all the way through the 20-day simple moving average. You didn't quite get to, I would think, this level here, 511. Okay, that's pretty much key support level there. You didn't get much there, okay? So, very bearish candle. We're looking at 514.85 right now, so we're about right here. The lower third of this session, still bearish, accepting lower prices, expected a bounce, right? Got a little bit of a bounce, but we got huge news coming out, so we'll have to see how this pans out. Now, you broke this trend line for sure now, okay? But you can see right here, this level, which would be a monthly high here and a weekly low of a week here, right here. So around 510. 510 to about 508. That looks like a support. Okay, then you got the 50-day moving average at 506 right now, 504. So 506 to 504 could be the next support as well if we fall lower. Okay, we do have a trend line here as well, about 500 if we did fall farther. Okay, that's what I'm seeing in the SPY. Let's move over to the Qs. Okay, now the Qs, okay, the Qs ripped past the 20-day simple moving average, also a bearish engulfing candle. Notice it came up to this key resistance level. That's been resistance a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, and again. That happened to be last week's highs, right? And then when you ripped down last week's lows, took out this uptrend line right here, and what do you know? We hit the 50-day moving average on the Qs right here. That held it up. Okay, now the support level I was looking at last month's lows, 432. 432 is what I would think would be a level of support for the Qs. Okay, 432. You have the 100-day moving average all the way down here, 417. Okay, but 432 would be a good place. All right, next probably 425. Okay, where are we at now? 437. 437 right here. So this 50-day moving average held it up yesterday. Okay, if we take that out and go to 432, like I said, probably get a little bounce, and then you see what we do. Do you go back up and fall? Who knows? Does this mean the pullback's in to buy to go higher? Don't know, right? But just got to keep an eye on it. Okay. Now, as far as the triple-headed monster, the 10-year yield, it didn't move really much based on Kashkari and Goolsby. Okay. I saw I'm seeing some people are saying that the monetary policy was not reason why the market tanked. It was because of the geopolitical risks with Iran and Israel. Because the dollar and the bond market didn't really move much. Now, it doesn't really matter to me why it moved, to be honest with you. But that's what people are saying. Okay, so if we look at the bond market, we dipped under this resistance level, so we're just right here. Okay, once you get over this level 4.5 area, that will probably put weight on the markets, but who knows. And then the dollar, oh, the dollar, let's see, look, yesterday it didn't do much. So we're above the 200-day moving average here. It didn't really get affected. It will be affected right now in about 5 minutes. But we have to see now. The VIX finally, the VIX had a surge. Okay, finally, I didn't want to do that. Finally had a surge. All right, so you can see complacency down here. Look at the lows. We're at 12, 13, and then wham, all the way up to almost 17 and holding above 15. Okay, that is, volatility is back for right now. 16 VIX is a 1% move. Okay, expected move in the VIX. I mean, in the S&P. 16 VIX is a 1% expected move, which is nice. Nice volatility for trading. Okay, so what do we got left? We got structure in the market profile. Okay, we can go to that. This big drop here. My God, it was a big drop. And we're gonna probably go to an hourly chart. I mean, I can go here, but so just important things to note. This is a huge amount of single prints. That is emotional selling. Single prints. Okay, very thin volume. Look how thin this volume is. Boy, that just ripped. Okay, so very important to look at those. That's just a lot of thin volume. So which just that means is that if the market really wanted to rip higher, there's not much resistance. There's really not. And what do we got to pay attention to today? The midpoint, 52.51. That's the 50% retracement of the big move. Okay, that's a big level to be looking at. Okay, so we did hit demand here and pop. All right. Now, the most traded price of the week was up here. The most traded price of the month is right here. We are below that, both prices right here. Okay, prices right there. And like I said, we're catching a little bounce. Okay, so like I said, this was yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows, overnight lows. Overnight lows, little tip, are usually not the low. They're not secure. Okay, so I do think if we do get some come down here, we're probably going to make a new low. That's generally what I see that happens is when there's a new low made in the overnight. Overnight lows usually get taken out by RTH low. Doesn't mean we fall, it just means you make a new one in the RTH session. All right, real time trading hours. Okay, so this is still bearish, right? Because if you just look at structure, you look at what's happening here. Big drop, right? And then we're holding the lower prices. We're not up here, we're not at the midpoint, we're not above the most traded price of the month. We are in a bearish stance, right? And the job of the market now is see if it can move this most traded price of the week down lower and accept the lower prices. If we do this, right? If we do this, that will make a move down lower more probable. Okay, that will make the move down lower more probable. So right now, I can't really have much of a game plan because the non-farm payrolls have not come out yet, right? So, and unemployment, which will come out in about 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to an hourly chart. All right, I'm going to do that right now. So we'll be able to look at it together, watch together. Let's look at that together. You can see I have the relative volume is nice today. Obviously, no surprise there. There we go. News just dropped. That doesn't look good, the initial. Okay, so let's go to that real quick. Let's see what the news was. Okay, oh boy. Unemployment went down. That's bearish. Okay, unemployment. So you got bearish news two ways. Okay, bearish news two ways. Okay, so non-farm payrolls, 200K. You added 103,000 jobs. That is bearish. That's bearish. Now, unemployment ticked lower. Why would the Fed cut if the unemployment just went down? That is bearish. So you got two bearish things. Okay, two bearish things. Let's see how the market handles it. The initial surge was lower because I said this is bearish numbers. So let's watch here. Obviously, this demand doesn't mean anything anymore. See, it went right into this demand zone, popped, but this is bearish. So, very interesting. Now, what I wanted to show you guys, I did put a fib from this move down all the way to this level here, right? So 50% retracements, 52.49. I said 52.51 before. So like around this area, look what this lines up with. This area of support. That's what this lines up with. Okay. Another roadblock here is that most traded price of the month. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at today. These are like areas where we could go up to and roll over. Okay. Still need this to shake out to get some type of play on it because it's bearish right now. Unemployment ticked lower and non-farm payrolls added more jobs. That is not good for Fed cuts. Okay, let's look at the watch list real quick and see what the let's see this. Okay, bond market, the yields have rose. Okay, yields have rose. The dollar is up. That's the move. Higher yield, higher dollar is negative for equities. Okay, the VIX is up. Okay, look at the NASDAQ. It's almost flat. Crude is down. Okay, gold is slightly down. Russell doesn't like those rates really affect the Russell. And look at that. 30-year bonds continue to be sold off, down 1% now. Silver's down 2.59. So overall, this is not really good for the markets. This is not, you need it for a bounce today. All right. Double bearish news from the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment. It's just interesting of how this is going to digest today. Okay, now you're getting that. Now supply is definitely forming here. Right here. I don't really trust it yet. So you can just see real quick how I do a supply zone here. I'm going to move that right here. Just right now. And I'll set an alert on it. Like I said, this could get blown apart, but I like to have that on my chart. So we'll name that supply. Alright, I like to put timers on them just so I remind me, an alert. And that's supply on the ES. Alright. Look, we're already in the supply, back in the supply zone. So this going to get blown apart right now. Now, if this market, just want to be clear, if this market all of a sudden turns bullish on negative news, we're going to get a nasty buying opportunity today. If this news turns bullish, like right now, it's starting to get bought, this market's insane. What can hurt this market, right? Remember the single prints. There's not good volume. There is not good volume. There is not much resistance once you go into those single prints. Here's a big battle, right? Because you have dips that look very appetizing now. Let's say FOMO, right? Let's say you want to throw your money. You haven't thrown money at any of these Mag 7s. Well, you got a nice pullback in AMD, right? Maybe Palo Alto, Adobe. You got nice pullbacks. So it's just very interesting what's going to happen here. I mean, let's take a look at the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ dipped. Look now, look what the NASDAQ did. It broke this support, right? It actually made a new low. Now here's that fib that I have on here, and it actually, I might have to move it to here now. Okay, so in the NASDAQ, all right, you do have the most traded price of the year and the month right here. Notice the 50% retracement of yesterday's move is right here. So this area for the NASDAQ, it's all what it's about here. Notice up here you have this area consolidation here. Okay, and this is just, if we get back over this and hold it, boy, you could do that. Okay, so that's everything right now in the NASDAQ. The level's 182.80. Okay, 182.80 in the NASDAQ. This level, along with the 50% retracement. So let's look at that level like that. If this market was to come up here, this would be the test. Okay, I would say, now, if you ever hear somebody say acceptance, me saying acceptance. Acceptance is like if you came up above this and held it and held it and held it and held it, most likely you're going to go up. Okay, now what's not acceptance? If you come up, go like this, come like this, hold, 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 there, you're going to roll over. Okay, so that level's everything. I'm not saying we even get there today, but it is a very big level in the NASDAQ. Now remember, the NASDAQ hit the 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average. So, like I said, that to some people will be looked at like, hey, a 50-day moving average pullback, I'm buying it. Now we have an election this year. There's a lot of things on the plate. A lot of things like this for me doesn't mean much because I'm a day trader. Like I mainly are day trading. Don't get me wrong. I like to swing with options, but there's just so much headline risk lately. It's hard to get into these plays with every week. There's data that just make the market go nuts. So this is what I'm looking at right now. I'm like, right now, I need more information. Now this is very, right now I would say you didn't have great news yesterday. Now you just didn't have great news again, and the market is going to move higher. Now, it has to sustain that, right? This could also be a bull trap. So you have to look at it both ways. This could also be looked at like, all right, let's get some buyers in there. Let's get some buyers in there. And the big boy's short. But I don't know, right? I have to see how the market looks like when we open. Does everything start skyrocketing? Or does it look weak under the hood? And you know, maybe these buyers are going to get hurt, right? Because now look, you have buyers right here. So right here you got buyers, right? Look at that excess, bought up. So the initial move was down. Now it's getting bought up, right? So you took out the longs right here, right? Now, I don't know if I talked about it enough, but there's something called a liquidation break, okay? When it comes out of news, comes out of nowhere, look what happened. You push down. What happens here is you push down, the initial move was down. Now look what happened, bought up. What that does is that eliminates sellers from the market. It strengthens the market, okay? Because now sellers who were short took profit or got their stops ran, right? That quick move down like that, boom, and then you did what happened? Sellers took profit, longs engaged. Now it's the job to see who really, like I said, right now this is kind of the line in the sand right now. And you also got the 23 Fibonacci here, so really have to see. I mean, like I said, we could do something like this and then boop, roll back over. Remember, I said the overnight lows are not really secure usually. And I've seen this before too, where we get a big move like this, right? And then we do this. And then what usually sometimes happen is if we come back, break those lows, and then you get something like this happens. And then you know what you do? You sometimes do this. Because after a big move, the market's got to digest it. You could just balance off and develop value down there. Okay. Now let's look at the ES. See where we're at. So that this supply is holding. I'm not really confident in it, but that supply is holding. So we did not make a new low in the overnight with this move down like we did in the Nasdaq. Okay. So again, right now this is like a little bit of a pivot here. This area from 52.20 to 52.10. Okay. Now remember, key level here, most traded price of the month. Right. Look to your left. That's also a swing low. All right, like I said, this is one roadblock for the ES. Then you have this 52, 59, 54, 50% Fibonacci retracement, right? Look to your left, you got support here. So this area is an area that the sellers need to defend. And you need to find acceptance. Now, if the bulls break the supply, go up here, hit this, and go like this, oh boy, that could be the move higher. Remember, you got to find acceptance above this level. If we do this, come back and we go like that and do this, then you're going to do this. Okay. Now look at that. Broke the supply. Okay. Broke the supply. Remember, we have single prints all up here. Weak volume, little, real thin. Okay. I can show you with the on the fly here. Let me see. That's control 3. Yeah. Let's look at this move here. Right here, I'll just show you the volume. Okay. Just on this move. Right. So this is all single prints throughout here. You can see the thin volume. Okay. You're getting a lot of volume here in this. So let's change that. We'll just make it from yesterday's move, really. Okay. Thin volume. Right. You had a little node here. So really have to see. This is very interesting. This is really nuts, but you got to respect the market, right? This is the test here. 52.33, right? So now that we see that, let's look at our Nasdaq. The Nasdaq's pushing higher, right? Look at that low to that high. Everything is this level. 182.80. That's the level. Okay. Now also you got at 182, you got the 50-day moving average on the daily and the futures right here. So it's coming up to the bottom of the 50-day moving average, pushing. All right. Market, that's crazy. This is pretty crazy. Like I said though, it could be a bull trap if we go all the way up here and sellers engage. However, this is, you're very short from yesterday if people held. This is very interesting. What a market. Jeez. You do not get good employment numbers following, and now we're going higher. Right? Like I said, this can be a very big bull trap. We'll have to see how this shakes out. Like I said, this is the level to watch in the Nasdaq. Okay, but like I said, I've seen this before, where you get a little bullish, and then selling starts to ensue. You make a new low, and then people really start to get. And then there's a bear trap sometimes, and then you go up like that, and you do this. Very, very volatile right now. Okay. Now, I will go over. Let's just look at if I can see. This is still like in the midst, like I said, of um, just trying to see here. I get a little better view of the market profile, volume profile, that what exactly we're doing here. And you can see the now this is very balanced profile here. Running out of steam here. We'll have to see. Really have to see. So we're talking about any kind of scenario right now. Like I said, I don't think this move has fully been digested yet. So it's hard to come up with something. But I said overnight lows are usually not secure. We're still in this lower portion, which is lower prices. Okay? So I would look to anything up here, the most traded price of the month, to possibly see what we can do over here. If we start to do that, we possibly can make a new low here. And then, like I said, either we go down and it's like, whoa, this is real selling, or it's a bear trap and we do this and we hold, which means we can still go lower on Monday. But you really have to feel the market out. I really can't. I don't really have 100% game plan right now because I don't know where the market's going to be when we open. And this is the Nasdaq, kind of similar, right? Low in the new low in the overnight. Now we do have a huge gap below us that's never been filled. Okay, so the same thing. Now this is not by the most traded price of the year right now or the month. Okay, but the 50-day moving average is right here at 182 in the futures. So that's kind of what I would be looking at a little bit right here, the overnight highs. Now see, we're starting to push back now. See, this is what I'm saying. And this is like a kind of like a balanced profile. Like I said, big moves sometimes do this. They balance, they digest it the next day. Like I said, I think what I've seen a lot is you get one of those and then it's a little bit of a bear trap. You might touch the gap, go in a little bit, recover, push up, and then do one of these. So that's kind of probability wise. Can we get follow through and just rip down? Yes. Can we go way up? Yep. But probability wise, that's probably more what's on the table. All right. So that's really it for me today. Um, Days like this with that kind of conflicting news, very hard to come up with a game plan right now. I'll have a better plan probably around 9:20 or so. And if I see something, maybe I'll do a short video on it. But like right now, that's what I showed you, kind of a guideline of what I'm looking at. But really, when the market opens up, you really see how stocks react, how internals look. Then things might change. All right. So I wish everybody stay green today. Good luck. Stay patient. Like I really am gonna stay patient today and sit back and let the story unfold. Get as much information as you can to make it a decision if you want to put risk on. All right. So everybody have a great day and have a great weekend.